Hi guys, welcome back to the Astrology. Today we are going to be doing the monthly reading for the month of April, where we are going to be talking about the sign of Aquarius. Now, of course, you can watch this video both from an Aquarius rising as well as from Aquarius moon perspective. So without further ado, folks, let's quickly jump into the video to understand what these planetary positions are going to be determining for us in the month of April. As you guys can see on the screen here, you have Sun, who is going to be in the sign of Pisces until April 12th and will be moving into its sign of exaltation in Aries from April 13th onwards. You have Mercury. Again, he is going to be placed in the sign of Pisces throughout, but becomes direct from April 7th. And Venus continues in that conjunction and becomes direct from April 12th. That is the reason, folks, that I have not showed on the screen Mercury and Venus in the form of retrogression, because both of them will become direct consecutively from April 7th and 12th perspective. Mars is coming into the sign of Cancer from April 2nd onwards, which is an important movement for you guys. He is the lord of your 10th, and as well as he's the lord of your third house, and he becomes direct, which is much of a relief coming into the sign of Cancer. But he comes into its sign of debilitation, which is what we are going to touch upon in a bit. Jupiter is going to be transiting from Rohini Nakshatra, ruled by Moon, into the Nakshatra of Mrigashira from April 10th onwards, while Saturn is already in Pisces. Of course, he is going to remain in Purv Bhadra for most part of the month, which is ruled by Jupiter, but later will be moving from April 27th onwards into Uttakshatra, which is ruled by Saturn himself. And that is an important transit. That's an important bit that you have to understand. Rahu is in sign of Pisces in Purv Bhadrapada Nakshatra itself, while Ketu is in the sign of Virgo in Uttara Falguni, which is ruled by Sun, guys. Now, first of all, your Lagna Lord, who's also the Lord of your 12th house, and if you are watching this from a moon sign perspective, again, it's the Rashi Lord who holds the portfolio of your 12th house in terms of spirituality, expenses, isolation, jail, whatever you think, bed pleasures, is finally arrived to the sign of Pisces. From April onwards, what you're going to notice is that this movement of Saturn, whilst in combustion, would have been a very silent movement. He is going to come out of combustion after the first 7-10 days, of course, when Sun continues to move towards the third house itself, which is important for you because you will realize that slowly and steadily your efforts, your expenses are going to rise and they are going to go towards savings. You could be utilizing some bit of your savings in terms of whatever you want to purchase. You might want to expand on some sort of investment strategies as well. But at the same time, because it is your first lord moving into the second, you will be focused towards that direction. You will try and replenish whatever you are spending, whatever you are using for investment purposes, and that becomes extremely important. Now, this Saturn is giving an aspect to the Jupiter and your fourth house. It is going to be a period which is going to bring some level of stress, at least for the time being, until Jupiter is coming out of that place. And we have talked in depth about Saturn's transit into the sign of Pisces. If you are watching this from a moon sign perspective, guys, you have to understand that this is also the last phase of your Sade Sati coming into play. And if you've not had a chance to watch those videos, we just completed them this week, earlier last week. I will highly recommend you to please go ahead and check the playlist of planetary transits, and it'll give you an insight as to what you've experienced so far or what you can anticipate. Now, this impact of this Saturn is going to be also coming into your seventh house and your 11th house. You see, it is a crucial transit coming into Saturn in the second house. I anticipate many of you finally finding some gains. You will be putting in more efforts. Karma will be heightened, especially from the second half of the month once Sun becomes exalted in the third house, where you will be fighting hard towards materializing your gains. Whatever goals, wishes that you've planned for is something that you will continue to work for. Now, you will have to be careful about your health as well, not just because of Mars positioning, but because your ascendant lord is coming in conjunction with a Rahu. It is currently combusted. I would highly urge you guys to please take due precautions with respect to your health, fitness, or whatever that be. You might want to figure out some regimen for yourself in terms of your working out schedule. Your food becomes extremely crucial during this phase, guys. And Aquarius, you have to be very cognizant as to how you are keeping a watch on your health mechanism. It could be with respect to food, it could be with following an exercise schedule, even just taking brisk walks could be extremely important for you guys. Now, as we move ahead further, we realize that Venus and Mercury, they are going to becoming direct during the course of this month itself, as we discussed. Mercury happens to be the lord of your fifth house and your eighth house, sitting in the second. This is an important bit, guys, because many of you who are watching this video from an educational backdrop perspective, students who are watching this video, it is going to be extremely important that you could have struggled in the month of March with respect to your education, studies, planning around that front, maybe going into some sort of a research, getting admissions into PhD related courses and universities might have not been working in the way you would have planned for, because Mercury was not only in debilitation but also retrogression. It's a challenging situation that you are facing thus far, but things are going to get positive impetus, especially if you're trying to pursue higher level education, because not only this Mercury gets the Neech Panga, Venus also gets direct. Yes, Venus is giving a debilitated aspect there, but more so from an education perspective, I see this a very positive situation for you folks. The other bit that I would want to draw your attention is that Venus happens to be the lord of your fourth house. He is in Parivartan Yoga with Jupiter and 11 places away from itself and finally gets direct. Many of you could be making some sort of investment, some sort of strategy would be working out for you guys towards materializing gains, expanding on your savings, improving the quality of food, improving your mental sanity in itself could be a top priority for you folks, and that will start happening for you. He also rules your 9,000 is sitting in the second. It's a very good Dhan Yoga. It is a very good Raj Yoga, which is happening for you folks. So you are going to see positivity from that side also flooded. Because see, when you're Lord of Destiny, you're Lord of Fortune, he becomes direct. He is able to bring in a lot more outcomes. Don't underestimate a retrograde planet, but the problem is there is a lot of chestabal, there is a lot of attempt to make things happen, but it's just that things do not materialize easily. That is going to be a shift that you are going to notice from the second week onwards itself in April, which is a very positive movement. Keeping in mind that Venus is in exaltation, he is going to bring in some gains from your asset perspective as well. People who've been planning to purchase some property, people who've been planning to buy decorative items, doing landscaping projects or doing any kind of upgrade projects at your home, you are going to see some positive movement from that front as well. Your knowledge base in itself could expand during this period. You could gain from your own knowledge, you could gain from your own insights. So please do not consider that in any negative light or any an opportunity that should not be missed. Now, as we move ahead, we notice that Sun, who happens to be the lord of your seventh house, is currently placed in your second house. Now, again, it is an eighth movement which is coming into play, and it is an important movement because here you are going to find some gains, you are going to find some growth through the partnerships. This partnership based gain could either be on the professional side or also be on the personal front. However, what you would have noticed is in the last 15 days, as well as leading up to 13th of April, that the outcomes may not be to the best as you would have desired. The reason for that is Sun, Moon, both of them, they had their own eclipses. Sun has struggled in the presence of Rahu. Rahu is a devious planet. His presence, he is a co-owner of your first house as well, Aquarius. You have to understand when he is present in conjunction with Saturn, or realization of work related outcomes is not going to be easy. But Sun is going to be moving into exaltation into your third house. Now he will be doing a ninth movement from April 13th onwards, which is going to be extremely important because one, you are going to notice that there is going to be an exorbitant amount of effort that you are going to be putting in the next 1 month from its transit perspective. Why do I say that? Because debilitation of Mars is not the best thing that you desired. And Mars had come into your sixth house, into your house of profession, into your house of career, into your house of loans and litigations. But with Sun's transit 9 places away and coming into exaltation into the sign of Aries is going to at least address part of that problem. It is going to ensure that you are going to be putting magnanimous amount of efforts into whatever is required towards your karma. Student watching this video, it is going to be absolutely critical time for you to leave no stone unturned towards finding success with respect to your education. If you are watching this from a working professional stand perspective, it is going to give you mixed results. There is going to be a lot of effort that will go from your end. However, at the same time, you could feel lack of strength, some level of lethargy, some level of giving up sort of a mindset come into play because of Mars debilitation, who is the lord of your third house itself. So, Sun is bringing some balance from that perspective. If you're watching this from a business standpoint or from your marriage and relationship perspective, it's a very good movement. I see some of you actually taking short distance trips, luxurious outings as well, both from a professional meetings perspective as well as taking some time off with your spouse, with your better half, and enjoying something from that perspective too. Now you have to also understand, I want to repeat it from a fifth house connection of Mercury perspective as well, which I missed a bit. If you are single watching this video and you do not have, or if you're not married, then from your romance relationships perspective as well, you are going to see some level of up and down. Things are going to improve, especially in the second half of the month for you, as Sun becomes exalted and Venus and Mercury, both of them become direct as well. However, I will still warn you to not get into any kind of speculative activities during the phase of the next 45 to 60 days, so to speak. Now, Jupiter happens to be the lord of your second house, important planet, because he defines what kind of family life, what kind of food, health, savings you are going to manage, and he also rules your 11th house. Extremely important. So Jupiter becomes a crucial planet for you, and he is currently placed in the sign of Taurus in your fourth house itself. Now the good part that is going to happen for you folks is that Jupiter is going to be moving into the nakshatra of which is ruled by Mars itself, and that transit is going to happen from April 10th onwards. So for the first 10 days, of course, Venus continues to remain in the retrograde motion itself, and you will find that there will be some level of slowness, there will be some level of delay that will happen in terms of things materializing for you. Whatever goals, objectives, targets that you've been working towards, any kind of gains that you've been trying to derive from your career standpoint, from your relationship perspective, from your business growth ambitions relation to, you will see some sort of delay for the first 10 days. But once that shift happens, see, Jupiter coming into Mrigshira is going to get some sort of pace, some sort of energy to itself as well. And that's a good connection because from here, Jupiter is giving an aspect to your 10th house. Your 10th Lord, Mars, is getting debilitated from the early part of the month itself and is going to remain in debilitation throughout. And that is where I think Jupiter's transit one is going to have a good impact because he is going to give positive outcomes, fast paced outcomes with respect to your karma, with respect to your gains through the course of this period post April 10th onwards. And then you also get the support of that Parivartan Yoga materializing now more positively because Venus also becomes direct a couple of days later. So I think a lot of positivity comes from that perspective. Now, of course, there is such a focus into your sixth house. I cannot emphasize enough to the fact that pursuing anything related to research, pursuing anything related to new discovery, working your own bit of time, finding that isolation, making efforts, researching into something new, learning some new streams during this phase itself is going to become crucial. Jupiter's aspect is on Ketu, it is on 8th house. He is going to bring in a lot of positivity from the second half of the month onwards too. Yes, we just discussed about the aspect to your 10th house, but important bit is the aspect to the 12th house as well, which is a debilitated aspect coming into the sign of Capricorn. But when Mars is moving into your sixth house, he is going to be giving an exalted aspect towards 12th. You will have to be watchful during this phase in terms of how you are going about your savings, because there is a high probability you might be infused towards making some sort of investment decisions as well. I told you earlier as well, please refrain from making any kind of speculations at this point in time. If you've not had done your due diligence, if you've not done your due research to derive at the next step you want to take with respect to a new purchase, with respect to a new investment, I highly recommend you to take a step back, introspect if that is what is required or not. Now, Mars is the lord of your 10th house, moving 9 places away into its 6th house placement. Yes, it's debilitated, but from a karma perspective, from a job chain perspective, from your business perspective, this is a very positive movement. I like this movement from that angle itself. And then Sun is also giving a support with its exaltation coming into your 3rd house. Now, the 3rd lord is debilitated, but the house in itself is exalted, which means that there could be some denial of effort from your side, but the circumstances would be such that you will be pushed to make those efforts. Again, the journeys that you are going to be making for short duration travel, especially from a personal perspective, are going to be extremely rewarding. But from a career standpoint, it would be giving you mixed outcomes. You will have to leave no stone unturned in terms of pursuing the right communication. Please be very watchful in terms of how you're expressing your thoughts, how you're expressing your ideas in writing, because that can bring in some level of negative connotation, which is what you have to take care of. This Mars is going to be giving an aspect to your 9th house as well. Please be watchful with respect to your interaction with your bosses. I do not recommend picking up unnecessary feud with people who are elder in your family, your father for that matter. You should be watchful with respect to his health as well. I think there will be a definite improvement on that front once Venus is becoming direct. But this Mars is also going to be giving an aspect to your 1st house. If you're watching this from an Aquarius moon perspective, it could bring in some sort of challenges with respect to your marital bliss, your emotional state of mind as well. But even from an Aquarius ascendant standpoint, I want you to remember that your choice of words, how you're expressing yourself, what sort of an impact you have with your temper, and how you are able to keep a check on your emotions through the course of this month is going to become important. Not just this month. In fact, Mars is going to be continuing to stay in your 4th house in your 6th house for a while, in the 4th sign itself in Cancer. So you will have to be careful for the same through a major part of this period. But overall, I think this is a beautiful month. You have good opportunities coming in your way. You have good travel, lots of action with respect efforts coming in your way. Remember, Sun in exaltation is giving a debilitated aspect to your 9th house. So do not lean much on destiny. Do not lean much on the support coming in from your superiors, bosses, leaders. You will have to put in the effort from your side. Venus is going to support you once he becomes direct, and things are going to get at least positive, if not mixed results from that angle as well. Health perspective, as I cannot emphasize enough, please consume the right food. There's a lot of action happening in your 2nd and the 6th house. It is important for you to take care of your health, watch on your expenses. I think this is going to be a period which week on over week is going to bring a lot more positivity out for you. If you have enjoyed watching this video, then please smash on that like button, subscribe to the Astrology, and keep watching.